Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. It is a Thursday. We are back with the Consciousness Conversation with Dr. Thomas and myself, Melissa. We thank you for being here with us today. We're very excited to be back after a week off. So I hope you had a very nice vacation. The pictures looked beautiful.
I think it was nice. It was cold sometimes, warm sometimes. You never know what to expect when you're out there camping. But uh, it's just nice. It's nice to not always be able to be online and to have the phone connected with you and always looking for your text messages or who's talking to you or who you want to contact with,
Yeah.
and just to get out there. Um, it's a different experience for everyone. But when I was there, I tried to go out. I'd go for a run around the lake, and yeah, it'd be like a run with. Oh, look at that picture! Look at that picture! But uh, you know,
Yeah, this time of year in that area is just absolutely gorgeous. So you couldn't have picked a better time of
hmm
year to be in that area. So, hello everyone. Welcome, Steph. Well, welcome, Darlene. Yes, we are back streaming on live YouTube Live. So, welcome everyone on YouTube. So, please like and subscribe. I'm really appreciative of your support. Absolutely. And for those of you joining us on Facebook, welcome. Good morning. Good afternoon. I keep saying good morning because I just got up from a nap. Good evening, Natalia. So welcome from Boston. Yeah, it's gloomy here, but I'm going to be honest with you. I felt very, very in my element today as I was cooking, baking, cooking, freezing things. So yeah, welcome, welcome. So really excited to have this conversation. Actually, Thomas and myself started the conversation before we jumped on here. I actually had to get us started because we were flying, talking about what is purpose. And people often get caught up with this idea of purpose. What is my purpose? Why am I here? Am I living my purpose? And if I don't live my purpose, will I be okay? If I don't figure out what my purpose is, am I going to go to hell? Like, people get really caught up on this idea of what is my purpose, and it can be one of those things that if you really get caught up in it, it can very much again, it goes back to fear. It goes back to, if I'm not doing the right things, if I'm not checking all the boxes, will I be safe and stable? And I really like that we're having this conversation today because I know so many people struggle with this. Like, do I know what my purpose is? How do I figure out my purpose? Am I living my purpose? Am I going to be okay? So interested to have this conversation.
it is always good. All right, I'm sharing one more spot. Sorry, you gotta be with me for a
That's
second.
okay. That's all right.
Uh,
That's all right.
Let me just put this here. A second now. If I can find it.
Hey, Jacqueline, welcome. Welcome, Claire. Oh, Claire is, never mind. Take care of that.
So I, you're on, whether you're on replay or you're live, it doesn't matter. I want to ask the question before we really dive into this. You can answer if you want. You don't have to. But I want to ask a simple question and get your thoughts. It's because it's simple. Do you know your purpose? If you have an idea, you have a thought, you think you know your purpose. You don't have to answer it specifically, but put in the comments. Do you know your purpose? I was asked this question a couple weeks ago, and that's what really spurred this topic. When I was asked this question, automatically I got like three. Whoa, there's just a three-part answer. It's not a one-part answer. It's at minimum a three-part answer. Yet it's so simple, but it's a three-part answer. And so think about this for a moment. Do you know your purpose? Now, there's a lot we're going to dive into. So, when I heard this question, I immediately wrote down, well, I'm sorry, when I answered this question in the group setting I was in, I immediately looked at everyone and said, I know how your purpose is. I'm not going to give you the answer, though. No, it wasn't being like, I know. It's so different. But I say that because, one, do you even want to know your purpose? Because you need to think about this in multiple different levels. There's ultimately a whole purpose for the universe. We are all part of that purpose. If we really wanted to dive deeper into this, we're all part of the one, we're all part of the whole. So the purpose of the universe is the purpose of all of us. So really, we have this really big purpose. What is the purpose of the universe? All right, that's one. But now let's go into the micro level. We're in this planet, on this planet. What is the purpose of the planet? We're all part of the planet, we're all part of here. So what is the purpose for that? And then we're all individuals on this planet. And so we come in with our own little, I hate using the word purpose for this example right here. We come in with our own agenda, our own plan. But at the end of the day, do we want to know our purpose and what is it? It's going to be completely different answers. Because if we think we know what our purpose is, if I told you today, in fact, you know what? If you went to a psychic, I'm going to throw this up. If you went to a psychic and the psychic told you tomorrow you're going to win the lotto, or this is going to happen, or whatever, something to happen, you are going to expect that to happen. And you are going to choose either all the options to make that happen and force it to happen as best you can, or to not make it happen. But you are now changing your direction of your life based upon what you are told is right for you.
No, and that's a great example because it goes back to how we're programmed very early on. And, if you grew up in a family that expected you to get a job, if you grew up in a family that expected you to go to college, if you expected, these programmings, these expectations, societal, family, whatever they are, can sometimes feel like they dictate your purpose. And it may not be what that purpose is intrinsically within you, where you're feeling you're guided, where you're feeling you're being inspired. And so, yeah, really getting clear about that with yourself is very important about what is important to me. Is it because it's important to me, myself, and I, or is it because this is what I was told should be important? And so I like the fact that you've taken this from the universe down into, the layers of, okay, now the planet and now us as a species and then us individuals. Because at the end of the day, your purpose, whatever it is going to be in alignment with all of that. It's right. We're all connected. So your purpose is going to be in alignment with the planet, the universe, God consciousness, or whatever you believe in.
And so I'm going to switch this off the word purpose.
Okay.
Because we're going to get to purpose. But what most people say when they say, I want to know what my purpose is, or my purpose is this, like I was told what my purpose was. Okay. I literally was told what my purpose on this. Yeah. Okay. Yes. But it's more of like an agenda for most of us. And it's a high level purpose, high level agenda that we come in with. But we can't get stuck on what we think it might be or where it is. Because a high level agenda is about you're living here.
No, and I think Jacqueline's hitting it on the head where she says, I need to listen to my heart and soul to guide me.
Exactly. You need to live at a high level and open up yourself so you can be guided into any direction. And to be one living in that purpose, you truly need to open up to the field of all options that are in front of you. And wherever you are being fueled, your intuition is taking you, your guidance is taking you, is the purpose for you at this moment. We all came in with agendas based on, everyone that's young, older. I'm going to call us older people, like 30s and above now, all right? 30 and above. 30 and above is older. We came in with karmic things that some of us still have to get rid of. So we had little agendas that would come with this. And we all have things we want to do with our Akashic records and where we are with a more of a personal purpose. But none of that is fixed. None of that is required. In fact, when I get to what the actual purpose of us is, you'll see it's not a real requirement. It's just for you. And it's about you having this free choice to live this life.
No, and I think that's what people get caught up in because they think their purpose has got to be this big thing. I got to be this big title, or I've got to have this big following, or I've got to have this big being seen. And it's very, very not that. Some people will have a purpose that gets them seen or gives them a title, but it's not a requirement.
It's not a requirement. So what, Christian, what is unfair to be told?
Yeah,
unfair to be told the purpose? I think it
Yeah.
is. It's unfair. It is unfair to be told your purpose. I mean, it truly it is. I mean, I've been told things, and I'm living out something I was told 2 years ago because I manifested it to come true, which is fine because now that it's here, I'm like, oh, I really needed it this way, anyways, because that's what I needed. But I was told I kind of expected it to happen. Eventually, it's now happening. Um, but you need to. I can. Here's the thing. I can walk away from it at any moment in time.
Yeah, because that's the free will. I mean, honestly,
Mhm.
like I was told, a decade or so ago, about what my purpose was from spirit, from, because I kept asking, like, why am I being, not given things, or why do I keep losing things, or why do I not be able to live happy or safe or stable? And, and it came back down to my purpose and what my purpose was. And so, yeah, sometimes knowing your purpose can be very daunting because it's not what you maybe want, or again, we're kind of told what your
Mhm.
purpose was supposed to be. I mean, for me, literally my purpose growing up, what I was told basically was that I just needed to get my high school education, I had to get a job, I had to be able to support myself. Like, I thought my purpose was going to be very confined and very like, this is, if I do A, B, and C, I've done it, right? And then spirit comes along 20 years later and goes, oh yeah, that wasn't it. Like,
Uh-huh.
no, we need you to do this, this, and this. And it was overwhelming and it was not comfortable. And, and part of it too, sometimes your purpose isn't revealed completely, because you are going to get taken out of your comfort zone. You are going to get taken away from the things that you feel are what make you safe and stable, or what make you comfortable. Because anytime that you're living your purpose, it's going to be a little uncomfortable because you're learning and growing and evolving.
Mhm. Mhm. And so there's two things I want to hit on here. First one is what you said there. I'm gonna hold off on Cynthia. We're gonna go. I'm gonna go
Oh,
to that
okay.
second.
Okay.
Uh, what you said there. You asked for your purpose. So that's something I want to make clear. You can ask for your purpose. Now, time out. You're not gonna get told. You ask for your purpose. Say, ask those around you, the guys around you, what is my purpose? You're gonna be told, believe it or not, what you need to hear for this moment in time, what you
Yeah.
need to see for this moment in time. So, as I said a few years ago, I was told something. It doesn't mean it's 100% relevant now, or it has, that it, and it's always going to be stagnant. It means that that moment in time, I needed to know that information. I needed to hear that message of what my purpose was. If I ask that question today, they might say something completely different. In fact, it is always tweaked. I mean, it really has tweaked to what I've seen with here and there and how it goes, because it does change, and
Yeah.
it really
There is no
does.
wrong path. You will get to yeah, you're
Hmm.
right. Absolutely, Jacqueline.
So,
You may get it to it in a roundabout way. You may get
hmm,
to it, like I did. I had to go down many, many avenues that were not it.
right, right. But it's not. But none of those avenues were wrong. They were all
No, no,
correct.
they all got me where I needed to be. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And it doesn't always have to be the right way. It can be a roundabout way. And so you get the Cynthia here. So I'm going to go into Cryon. Cryon talked about he called them four spectacular controversial truths. I'm going to give you the four of them. So we hear the four of them. And there's a reason for that, because the last one's the answer to the question. Okay? But to understand the answer to the question, you must first grasp these other truths, because they all line up to lead you to where you are. So the first truth, the first spectacular controversial truth, because one thing that, in fact, Cryon said this last night, everything you learn, forget. Everything you were taught, forget. Because we are in a new, and things are different. Now, these truths. The first one, the creative source of your soul that you call God or Spirit does not judge. you, does not punish you. God is pure love. God is biased in pure love. Punishment, fear, judgment is here because in here we are unbiased. And it's a human idea in creation. Two, people don't believe this. I mean, you gotta open your. I mean, it's don't you have to open your mind to get the second one. The second truth is that this galaxy of ours is teeming with life, not microscopic life, but with life.
No, it's funny you say that. So I was listening to Dr. Wayne Dyer last night, and he'd had a conversation with an astronaut, and I wish I could remember the guy's name. But he got back from space, and he actually dropped out of the space program and started a foundation because he saw the life that is teeming out there,
Mm-hmm.
and he couldn't share it, not
Yeah, right.
in that capacity at that time. So there's evidence. There's definitely evidence that we're not alone,
Right.
and we.
And I might have said this before, and the reason why
Um,
we don't see this, and we don't, it's not obvious, is because when planets are in this state and we are still in this growth, the other planets, it is staged far distances from the life planets that are they're thriving because we are to evolve at our own pace, at our own way. That is, I call it this way because truly the simplest way to explain humanity is in this planet, and I have most planets, is we are an experiment.
mhm.
An experiment with the purpose of raising the universe, raising the vibration of the whole universe, made in love. Here we are biased, and we're able to do things, and we've done this many times, and so we're here for these experiences. But there's life everywhere. 3, reincarnation is the engine to consciousness advancement. And so everyone, people think about reincarnation, and most people don't talk about believing it. Yet 80% of the people in the world believe in it. We just it's taboo to talk about it. But the reincarnation is coming back and coming back. Get ready for it. Because our journeys and our purposes are not one expression length. An expression is just reincarnation. It is multiple expressions put together to solve, to maybe even serve one agenda item. But it's there. And then number 4, this one answers everything because we've talked about it. And we've said everyone's looking for this big, oh my goodness, my purpose is to do this grand thing and be all that I can be and raise the vibration of the earth and be the plant goddess and the god and this. No, okay, you can do all that. We all can do all that. But the true purpose for every single person here is simple. I'm gonna start off with the pretext for this. You are known by God. And many of the doctrines teach that God is big and you are not, and that you are separate from God. But that's not true. The creative source, which is God, wants to be found. The science has proven that God is eternal within the body. You and your life is part of this grand spiritual machine. And so your purpose is to simply be.
That's it.
God knows your name is the most spectacular truth you can be given.
And
God knows your name,
yeah.
knows you, and just wants you to
And
be.
what I've been teaching, because what I came to in all of the, I know Cryan says it very succinctly, that's for sure. But I know that when I was putting together my intuitive guidance course and I was looking for that answer, and everything that I was coming to, I was being brought to, was basically just be of service. So
Mhm.
be is in there. So if you're being of service, kindness, compassion, living in love, being grateful, just being kind,
Mhm.
you're living your purpose. That is what it is. It's to be in connection with source, God consciousness, That's what we're here to do. And we have free will
Mhm.
choice in how that looks. We have free will choice in our choices and decisions and what our life looks like. But if we're coming from that place of compassion and kindness and love and being part of the creator, God consciousness, universe, whatever you want to call it, if you're living from that higher vibrational frequency, then you're doing it. You're
Mhm.
there. You're in your purpose. That is your purpose. And it doesn't have to be convoluted. It doesn't have to be grand. I mean, some people will achieve other things in their lifetime. But if you're doing that from a heart centered, if you're doing that from your heart, then you're living the purpose.
And I would play the devil's advocate into this one too. It really can stop at the word be,
Mm-hmm.
because God is bias and love. This planet, we are unbiased because we can be, because it's our option of free choice. So no matter what you do, you are living out a purpose, your purpose. Now, you are 100% correct. Natalia is 100% correct. Living out of love, being the good person. If you are able to acknowledge who you are and truly feel who you are, it is. You will be out of love, out of your heart center. Because this is, oh my goodness, this is where the love is. This is where the energy can be going. Even the other last week, earlier this week it was. I was having a meditation channel, and the issue was I was up here, and I had to get down to here
Mm.
so that I could be. Because up here is where we think, and we put too much pressure on our minds and our brains. We overthink so much as people. We just overthink it all, and we want to have these great answers. I tried to explain this to someone the other day about simple life. We as humans are always looking for that aha, as we said in the beginning, that this wonderful purpose. I did a study when I first started my doctoral program, and the study was on a local restaurant bar. Okay, it was any type of social research you wanted to do. This we chose. So we got up afterwards and we were doing this study. We were presenting in front of class, and the professor kept on saying, "And." And I'm like, well, this was great, and the bartender was like this, and this is why I did all. And I had these great findings, and he kept on looking at us saying, and at the end, he finally gave us the answer, and he goes, "It's a Mexican restaurant, only in name," and that's the number one thing here. You went to a Mexican restaurant with decor, but it has no Mexican back. It is a facade. It's a fake. It's like, oh yeah, because yes, what you missed was the most obvious. Not that we missed it, but what we bypassed. We're like, well, screw that part. We want to get right into the oomph, show that we got all this, and that's what we do. We think. We go all into the head where the ego is, where we overthink things and overthink and overanalyze, and it stops us from the simple. Because everything can be explained simply if we ever took the time to let it be simple.
Mm-hmm. We do. We feel like we have to make things harder than they are because there's got to be some grand scheme. There's got to be some big explanation. There's got to be some big aha. When really what you need to do is just pare it down and boil it down to, what is the feeling,
Mhm.
and how can you get to that feeling very simply?
You ready for the big aha?
Yeah,
Your love,
that's it.
your pure love, and with the ability to do whatever you want because you can. Live your life, live it as you want it to be. And I'm going to talk about next week. I'm actually talking live if you're local. I'm talking live about. I'm actually going to be talking about our intentions and our words and what they really can mean. But I've seen it. I've I've experienced it so many ways. I mean, just by the changes I've made in my life and being the consciousness, things I've put forth, I can't tell you the things that just literally dropped in my lap. The
Mhm.
unexpected solutions.
Mhm.
But it starts with that love and that peace.
Mhm.
And that is being and living in your purpose. Now, I'm going to complicate things a little bit. See, I'm going to have fun here. We're using the word purpose, and once again, I shy away from purpose sometimes because we get the connotation, the definition of that kind of wrong. Because if you have the higher level purpose, then lower level agendas and plans. Okay, because that's really what you get down. Especially when you get to the micro level of us, we're really on plans,
Mhm.
and we're on plans and contracts written in invisible ink that
Mhm.
can be wiped away and changed at any point.
Mhm.
But there's a purpose for our soul. There's a purpose for the veil that's been put up, which doesn't have
Mhm.
to be there, but it's there because we put it there. There's a purpose for our free choice. There's purpose for all these things that are around us, and there are so many little things impacting all of us, impacting all our purposes. Melissa's got her own purpose. I have my own purpose. Natalia's got her own purpose. Christine's got her own purpose. Catherine's got her own purpose. Darlene's got her own purpose. Everyone watching this in the replay, which I don't know, well, I say Stacia, you're gonna watch replay now, Stacia. You have a choice. And, you've got your own purpose, and we all have our own purposes, our own agendas, and we're interacting with each other. Some of them have been planned, some have not been planned. Actually, strike that. They all have been planned for interacting. Sorry, that's how it works.
Yeah.
But uh, we're here, and at the drop of a hat, we can change our purpose, as we want to call it, and we can live the way we want to live. Uh,
The really big thing is no matter what you're doing, no matter what you want, no matter where you want to put your time and attention, no matter what you want your purpose to be, if you're doing it from a place of love, you're never going to go wrong. If you're doing it from a place of ego, we got some issue.
you ain't gonna go wrong though.
No, you're not going to
You're
go
not.
wrong.
No matter what, you're never gonna go wrong.
No.
It might take you You're never gonna wrong. It might take you longer to meet the agenda or the plan you have. So you might have few extra expressions go along, but you'll never. And once I'm gonna explain this real quick. Dr. Eben Alexander, a neuroscientist, he's been on with Cryan in the Circle of 12. I've read his book. He does a book, Proof of Heaven. I was skeptical about reading it. It was before even we got to, but he does the book Proof of Heaven, and he has a near-death experience. With this NDE, near-death experience, he's remember he's a neuroscientist, worked at Harvard, has hundreds of papers published. Okay, he had a meningitis, I believe it was, in his brain.
Mm-hmm.
He was dead for the most part. He was alive, breathing because the heart is what controls everything. He was alive. The brain was dead. He was in a coma for about, I think it was 10 days, 7 to 10 days, something like that. And right before they were going to pull the plug, he comes back through. Now, he was given a 99% chance of not being able to like walk or live or do anything again.
Mm-hmm.
Now he wrote a book and he's speaking publicly, so that changed.
Right.
But he had this near death experience and he experienced all this stuff. But what he does, and he does this in the book, he explains the book, what's going on in real life, what's going on with his memory from his experience. He goes through at the end of the book and goes through the 19 scientific reasons to explain what he experienced in those 7 to 10 days. And he was able to prove none of them were possible because he had all his charts. He had everything there, proof that there was no way in the world that his brain should be doing that. So he was clearly having an out of body near death experience.
Mm-hmm.
More evidence is in there that's there, but he has conversations with we'll call the source, because once again we're all part of the whole. We can do all that stuff, and he comes back with 3 rules, 3 things to know. The one that is the dominant. If there's anything you ever need to know, it's this right here. Love is the most powerful energy in the universe. See, they're reiterating it to you. Love is the most powerful energy in the universe. 2 and 3 are hard to grasp, but are important. Because if you can grasp 2 and 3, you yourself can take yourself from a level of, I'm going to use this word crap, to a level of enlightenment that you've not imagined. More work to do after that, but by grasping these 2, it changes your life. 2, I've said this one already. In the eyes of God, the creator, the source, you can do no wrong. Because you have free choice and you're given here to what? Simply be. Simply be. Now, you can do wrong to others, but that's not. Once that you leave this body and you go off, no one cares about that. It's not relevant. In fact, anyone you did harm to will hug you and say, you did it so wonderfully. That's what we planned. You hear that? That's what we planned. Okay. 3. You have absolutely nothing to fear. Once again, it's a human construct. Yes, we will fear things. The one thing that we've all been diagnosed with and put into our whole subconscious is the idea of fear of death. Because, well, if we died, we realize how wonderful it is back in spirit life, and we'd always want to die faster. So, we got to have that fear so we don't just kill ourselves all the time because it's wonderful out there. We are here to be. We're here to be.
Yeah.
And I know those 2 last things are very hard to grasp. But if you read his book, and I can summarize, I can maybe do a whole talk on it if I really wanted to. If you look at his book and the evidence that he provides, even the last, wow, that was like the big bombshell at the end of the book. It's phenomenal. I mean, you can't doubt the scientific research added to this. And that's why I'm on both sides of the fence. I mean, you look at the diploma behind me, PhD. All right. The science with the spirituality, because they line up together. And what Dr. Eben Alexander talks about, what Cryan talks about, they say the same thing. They say the exact same thing. They did not know each other.
No.
They did not have the same experiences. He had his experiences. He wrote his book. He did all his teachings. And Cryan was having his own experiences and saying all the same stuff. And like, hey, they met and they realized that we can share the same message. And you're going to give the science, I'm going to give the spirituality. And guess what? It's the same exact thing.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, everyone. So, yes, Wednesday, October 19th, Thomas will be at Books Etc. in Macedon, New York. So if you're in the area, stop down. I actually will be tonight doing an intuitive guidance meeting in my subkit or Living in Love community. All the information is in the description box for both of us. And thank you, everyone, for being here, whether you were here live or you're watching on the replay. So have a beautiful rest of your afternoon, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.